Welcome to the Milk and Honey with Lemon podcast. I'm your host, Lemon Price, creator of the Holy Girl Habits, wife and mama, and certified life and leadership coach who turned away from corporate life to embrace kingdom leadership. This podcast is for Christian women feeling the weight of their divine callings, grappling with doubts of their leadership abilities, and searching tirelessly for biblically grounded guidance who want to step confidently into their roles as radiant kingdom leaders. Inside, we're going to traverse from those feelings of uncertainty and overwhelming searches, moving toward firm biblical leadership, empowering you to steward your gifts, and showing you that you indeed have what it takes. So, sister, grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea, and let's dive in together. Welcome back to the Milk and Honey Show. I am your host, Lemon Price, and I am so excited today because we're wrapping up this week. I focused a lot on communication skills and developing emotional intelligence, which is so fun. Next week, we're going to talk about conflict resolution and mentorship, which I'm very excited to get into. So we're going to dive in today on something super important to me, which is I think a fundamental leadership skill, which is effective communication. And we're going to talk about it from a biblical perspective, right? So effective communication, as I've talked about this all week, is at the heart of great leadership. Proverbs 25:11 says, "A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a setting of silver." But how can we, as Christian leaders, make sure our words are indeed fitly spoken? So I'm going to dive into scripture with you a little bit here. So first, we have to speak the truth in love. Paul tells us in Ephesians 4:15, honesty is a fundamental skill, right? It is a fundamental principle to good communication. However, you have to deliver it with kindness and compassion. Being truthful doesn't mean being harsh or hurtful. You have to be sincere and genuine and considerate. One of my church leaders said this actually because he is not offended by anything. And so before he became bishop, right, he said he would just deliver news, right, and had no, because nothing offended him. And so the way he delivered news was the way he would take it. And his wife would always say, that's not necessarily the way to think about it, right? Would, your son be offended? Would your daughter be offended if you approached this topic in this way? If you said things this way? If you wouldn't say it to your spouse that way, or maybe you would, and maybe that's a whole other episode. But think about the delivery of it, right? It's the difference between feedback and criticism, right? Can I offer you some constructive criticism? Nobody likes that, right? Because I'm coming at you to be critical. Leadership says, can I offer you some feedback? Jesus sat with the sinners, right? But he was never influenced by the sin, but he was never also affirming the sin either, right? He led with love and compassion and sincerity and honesty. And that's what we have to do. Next, we have to be quick to listen and slow to speak, as James reminds us in James 1:19. Again, I'm going to keep talking about active listening. It shows respect and understanding. It is not just hearing the words, but there is an understanding in the intent behind the words. So I want you to pause, listen attentively, and then respond rather than reacting instantaneously. And then third, I want you to make your words encouraging and edifying. Ephesians 4:29 says, "Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear." We are called as Christian leaders to use our words to uplift others, to encourage them, inspire them, and to bring grace. Right? So think about that next time you're responding, especially to your children or to your spouse. Because here's the thing, being a Christian leader does not mean you lead just your team or in your business or whatever organization you volunteer for. It is about showing up as a leader when you are in a traffic jam. It is showing up as a leader when somebody is checking out in front of you at the grocery store and they are taking a very long time and you're getting impatient. It is about being a leader in your home all the time. Okay, so that means that your words need to uplift, encourage, inspire, and bring grace to even the people in your home all the time, because that is your call. So how do you put it into practice? So you've got some action items for this weekend that I want you to do. So choose a conversation that you're going to have. Maybe it's with a colleague, a friend, a family member. And before the conversation, I want you to take a moment to pray and ask God to guide your words. Aim to put these 3 principles into practice: speaking the truth in love, listening more than you speak, and using your words to uplift. Effective communication is more than just talking. It's about making sure our words reflect the love and grace of Christ. So just commit to making our words fitly spoken, like apples of gold in a setting of silver. Thank you for hanging out with me this week. As we step into the weekend, may your words be pleasing to God and uplifting to those around you. God bless you, and I will see you next week. Like I said, we're going to be talking about conflict resolution. So get excited. I think this is going to be an awesome week, and I look forward to hanging out with you guys again. Until next time, bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Milk and Honey with Lemon podcast. I am so grateful you were here. I hope this episode has helped you move from feelings of doubt and uncertainty towards stepping confidently into your God-given leadership role, fully equipped with biblical wisdom. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a second to rate and review. Each review helps us to reach and inspire more Christian women leaders just like you. Don't forget to share your takeaways, post it on Instagram, tag me anywhere you're on social media, and I'll see you next week.